Is this the worst year we've had in the last 2 decades in real estate? I've got a screenshot here from Instagram from my good buddy Daniel Deho, where I don't know if he went through these statistics or if he grabbed them from somewhere, but basically he's breaking down sales in comparison to listings on the market in each year and how bad they look. Now, I apologize. I was away for 3 or 4 days in Bellevue, Washington, which is just outside of Seattle. I kind of compare it to like North Van. And what I will say being there is the property prices really aren't cheaper than here after you do the conversion from CAD into USD. I thought it'd be cheaper. It really wasn't, but I will say the infrastructure is much better. The roads are wider. It's cleaner. It seemed like every road was brand new. Everywhere I went, everything was freshly paved. The people were a little bit nicer, et cetera, et cetera. I probably wouldn't live there because this doesn't feel like home, but definitely very nice. So anyways, here we are, 5 worst years in the last 2 decades. Okay, so you got 2008 at 13,000 sales, 35,000 listings, 2024 at 14,500 sales. Keep in mind, a lot more people living here than there were in 2008, so per capita sales are probably lower. 35,600 listings. 2022, we had 15,000 sales and 32,000 listings, so 2022 is a little bit better than 2024. 2012, 14,000 sales, 31,000 listings. 2010 was almost 15,000 sales, and again, 31,000 listings. Now, this is what we're pacing for right now. Now, 2024 wasn't the worst year here, but it had the most listings. Out of all of these years, we saw the most listings in 2024, and the amount of sales was somewhere in the middle in comparison. It was like, I guess the third, it was like pretty much dead smack in the middle when you compare against all these years. But we look at this year. Okay, year to date. So 2024 till now, January to August, there was 9,000 sales, 22,000 listings. Currently, right now, we are pacing for 1,700 less listings, but an additional, 2,500 listings. So you look at this is substantially worse than 2024. I mean, I don't even think the back end of the year will be better than 2024 because in 2024, we had a really good August. Not in August. We had a really good October, November. Like if you guys remember, sales were up like 40-something% year over year in 2024. And then December was really good as well. So we're actually going to be comping against difficult sales numbers going into the fall and winter for 2025 in comparison to 2024. So I think 2025 is definitely going to be a worse year than 2024. Is it going to be worse than all of these on a per capita basis? I'm going to say probably. I mean, the listings are substantially higher, and 2024 had the most listings out of any of these years, and the sales are substantially lower, and the sales were kind of right in the middle of all of these years. So 2025 is looking like it may be the worst year in the last 2 decades. Now, I'm going to save the stats video for maybe tomorrow or the day after because the HPI hasn't populated yet. The home price index hasn't populated. Everything else seems to populate before the HPI. Like I have the inventory sales and everything else, but not the actual pricing. But if we take a look at apartments in the Fraser Valley, they were selling through at a 13% sales ratio last month, which is slightly balanced. And that dropped all the way down to 10%. That's a 30% drop off. And we haven't seen a sales ratio this low in August since, I think it was 2012. Yeah, 10% in 2012. So it's been 13 years since we've seen a sales ratio this bad for condos in the Fraser Valley. Now, what's happening in the market? What am I seeing? Prices are going down, and they're going down pretty fast. Like I've, at least a couple $1,000s every week, I would say conservatively, probably like $5,000 a week. Like I've seen condos that I thought were going to sell around 600,000 go in the 560s, right? I'm seeing new 2-bed, 2-bath, concrete condos. One just sold in King George Hub for $550. Pre-sale, that's an $800,000 plus condo. And what is happening right now, and I've seen other realtors on YouTube talk about this, is like sellers are losing so much money trying the higher price because when the market is going down $5,000 per week, the second week is $10,000. The third week is $15,000. By the time you realize you want to reduce your price, now the price is $10,000 to $15,000 lower than what it would have been had you listed properly the first time around. And I talked about this in my last video. If you want to sell in this market right now, you need to undebatably, undisputedly be the best option on the market. And what's happening right now is everybody is going to market trying to be competitive with all the other inventory that's on the market. Like I just had a conversation with my colleague earlier today, And he's had this townhome on the market for like a year, right? And we kind of dug into that. We're like, well, why is that? What's going on? And, he seems to think it's priced pretty well. Seller's losing a lot of money on this. And he goes on to tell me that it's like, this other one in the complex came on the market for 50 grand more. It's like fully renovated. It's done up. It's blah, blah, blah. We're 50 grand less. And that one's facing the street, right? So we're probably a little bit better than that one. And I said, well, hold on. You are lit by saying that one's on the street. This one has renovations, but you are comparing. You are in competition. You need to not be in competition. That one needs to not even be in the discussion. And the only way, by the sounds of it, like you're going to be able to do that is by dropping your price. Sellers right now, because what people are doing, right, is like before they list their condo, they'll go on the MLS and they'll see what other condos are listed for. The mistake they're making is that what things are listed for is not what they're selling at. And it does not reflect what the current solds are. Whatever sold in the last 14 days might be substantially lower than what all these other units are asking for, right? So a seller will go on, they'll see all these active comparables and they'll be like, you know what, that one's listed for 600,000. I would be fine if I sold it for 585. And what I'm finding is that the mindset you need to have as a seller right now is to actually get your unit sold, it needs to feel as if you are being kicked in the balls. So when you're saying I would be okay with X sale price, well, that tells me that the price isn't low enough because you need to feel terrible about letting your property go at X price. 9 out of 10 times. I'm sure there is outliers to this, but this is what I've found from the listings that I've sold this year, from other people I've talked to. Nobody's happy about the prices ever, right? And to actually get it done and get sold and beat out all the competition, you need to feel like you are getting kicked in the nuts. Because the reality of the situation is right now is people are looking on the MLS. They're trying to be competitive with things that are similar to their unit. Maybe they interview 3 realtors and then they they list with the realtor that tells them the best price. Well, unfortunately, the highest price is pretty much always resulting in the lowest sale price. Because you list at 600,000 when it was worth 585, or you list at 620 when it's worth 585. And then in 3 weeks, you're like, okay, let's price yours to 599. Well, now the price is 565 and 599 is too high. Now you need to be at like 569 or 575 or something even lower. But again, you're probably going to want to try 599 for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, it's going to be 555. Then you're going to drop it to 569. And you're always going to be one step behind the market. But if you price it right and you feel absolutely terrible about your price, I would say that's probably an indicator that you're doing the right thing and getting in front of the market. And you're going to sell for what seems to be almost no money right now. But in a month, 2 months, you're probably going to feel pretty good about the price that you managed to exit the market at. And again, for buyers, there are very big discounts being negotiated off of these current asking price, off of even the market value, like not just the asking price, right? If there was a sale at 600, I'm seeing where the next sale might be 570 for that exact product type. And if you want to chat with me about buying or selling in the Fraser Valley, there's a link down in the description. Otherwise, I just appreciate you for watching my content. I'm that Agent Kelly. I'm making moves to move you. Peace.